So I finally got to see Glass this past weekend. Is the quality of the film Unbreakable, or did it leave my opinion split? Yeah, you see what I did there? Oh, I'm so lame.
What do you want? I am here to see if tales of the extraordinary being are true. May I meet the beast?
I'm Mary Reynolds.
I need your abilities to get us all out of here and show the world we exist. That sounds like the bad guys teaming up. Do you believe you are an avenging angel, partner? I believe. Avenge us.
I have to get out of here before he gets out.
They are contained. They always underestimate the mastermind.
It has begun, David. I found someone who will require your full potential. You shouldn't be hiding in the shadows. You might want to try and stop us. A lot of people are going to die.
Now, who'd like a PB and J sandwich?
We're not meant to have this much power.
Finally, all of us together for the world to see what we are capable of. You need to get out of here.
What have you done, Elijah?
Well, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? It is your boy, D-WIZZLE. Thank you as always for tuning back into the channel. And today we'll finally be talking about the third and final installment of this Unbreakable split trilogy. We'll finally be talking about Glass that came out this past weekend as of this recording, January 18th. It is directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and it stars Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, James McAvoy, Anya Taylor-Joy, Sarah Paulson, Spencer Treat Clark, and Charlene Woodward. So, if you guys don't know, I already did reviews on Unbreakable and Split. If you guys haven't watched those, I will leave links in the description below so you guys can check them out. So, yeah, let's get into this movie. So if you guys have watched my previous reviews for Unbreakable and Split, you guys would know I wasn't really feeling Unbreakable, you know. I didn't love it like everyone else did. I don't think it's an awful film. I think it had an interesting premise, interesting concept, with, you know, grounding superheroes and stuff like that, but I felt it didn't go into that concept far enough for me. I didn't feel there was enough substance in the film overall. And then we get to Split, and I thought it was a massive improvement from Unbreakable. I thought it was a much more enjoyable film. James McAvoy was fantastic in that movie with all his split personalities. I thought he did a really good job as Kevin. Probably one of his best performances, in my opinion. So, if you guys have watched Split, you guys will know that at the end, they left the teaser with Bruce Willis's character, David, confirming that Split is in the same universe as Unbreakable. And I remember seeing that for the first time, and I'm like, oh wow, that's actually really cool. That's very interesting. It immediately made the quality of Split better, especially towards, you know, the end, because, you know, I thought the end was kind of weird. But tagging on that ending, it made it make a lot more sense with, you know, given that, you know, his abilities and stuff like that. Now it's being like, oh, it's in the same universe as Unbreakable, where other people have special abilities. So I'm like, okay, I'm in for this. So, surprisingly enough, I was actually looking forward to another installment in this universe, you know? I was actually looking forward to a Shyamalan film. It felt for the first time for me, it felt like Shyamalan actually made something that could appeal to me. If you guys don't know, I'm not a Shyamalan fan. I don't like M. Night Shyamalan. I think he's a really bad director. I think his direction's very stagnant and dry and awkward, and I just feel he's overhyped for the most part. I don't understand why people think he's so great. Even the movies that they say are great movies that he's done, like The Sixth Sense, Signs, Unbreakable, stuff like that, I wasn't feeling those movies really. It's not for me. But for the first time I was thinking, okay, this universe and concept with Unbreakable and Split, maybe he has something here. Maybe he actually will breathe new life into his movies, and hopefully this will bring him to prominence with me. I don't know. But I was actually looking forward to Glass. I saw the trailers for this movie, and I was actually looking forward to this a lot. And that, like I said, this doesn't happen. I just thought, the trailers really hooked me. I thought it was very enticing to see Samuel Jackson, Bruce Willis, and James McAvoy interact for the first time. Just something about that, it's just something that I want to see. Regardless of the problems that I have with Unbreakable, I thought Glass as a character I thought was really interesting. And Bruce Willis's character actually looked like he had more personality, more life to him, and embracing more of his superhero persona. So I'm like, okay, I'm in for this. Let's do this, maybe Shyamalan, I would warm up to him after this. However, I did see the reviews for this movie before I watched it. Apparently, a lot of people are very mixed on this movie. It's, as of right now, it has like a 36% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that kind of made me wary, even though honestly I don't even care what Rotten Tomatoes says. At the end of the day, it's my opinion. I'm going to see the movie for myself and get my own thoughts and feelings about it. But I was just shocked that, this movie wasn't getting, really good reviews. And I'm like, okay, did Shyamalan go back to his dark days? Like, is this another miss? Is there another missed opportunity? I don't know. I was going to see the movie for myself. Maybe it just has something in here that appeals to me that didn't really go well for people that love Shyamalan's films. I'm not one of them, so maybe I'll have a different reaction to it. We'll just see what happens. So I saw this opening weekend, and I gotta say, for the first hour and 50 minutes, I was like, I honestly don't know what people are talking about, because the first hour and 50 minutes I actually was enjoying quite a bit. Like, I don't know, man, it felt so different from what Shyamalan has done before. It just really surprised me, just from the cinematography. There's more color, there's more vibrance, there's more atmosphere. The acting is actually pretty good at this movie. I wouldn't say there's one person in this film that I thought was bad. There was actually good acting in this movie. The character interactions I thought were a lot better. Starting with David, I thought he was actually pretty good in this movie. He wasn't dry, he wasn't awkward, you didn't feel like he was shoehorning in his performance, and it felt like he actually felt like a character to me, and that was the biggest surprise. And I loved that they got the actor that played his son in the first Unbreakable to come back, Spencer Treat Clark, who plays Joseph. I'm glad we got to see him as an adult, and we actually got to see how their lives were after Unbreakable. Apparently, David is fully embracing his superhero persona, which apparently now he's calling the Overseer. Okay, that's a pretty decent name. So it's really cool that they made this like Batman Oracle type relationship where Joseph is giving him information at their like base at a store. They made this the store that they work at. They made it their own headquarters, and he's giving them information through an earpiece. That's like Oracle stuff. And then David's out in the field. So I thought that type of stuff, that was really cool. That's actually interesting. And I thought Joseph was pretty good in this movie. I just like the interaction that he has with David. I thought it was pretty good. Then we get to, let's talk about James McAvoy. What's there to say? He's still great in this movie, and I think he ups his performance in Split. I just thought he was a lot more exciting, and there's a lot more energy to his characters. He has more personalities that we didn't see from Split. And I thought those personalities were pretty good. I thought it was good. I wouldn't say they're as dynamic as the personalities in Split, but I still thought they were very interesting to watch. And but yeah, I just felt he had more to work with his personalities, from jumping from one to another. It felt more energetic. It felt more exciting. So I thought he was fantastic. He almost stole the show again. But yeah, James McAvoy was great in this movie. And then we get to Samuel L. Jackson as Glass. So I'll admit, like, for the first, maybe like the first 40 minutes, whatever you want to call it, the first quarter and a half, he doesn't have a lot to do, but that was all part of the structure of the film. But once he starts getting into the action, start progressing the plot, he actually was great in this movie. He's just that awesome evil mastermind that I enjoyed from the first Unbreakable. And honestly, I thought he was a lot better than he was in Unbreakable. It felt like he actually was able to go into his evil mastermind persona, I guess. Like, he was able to play with it more. I didn't feel like he was able to play with it as much in the first movie, but in this one, I thought it was just a lot more entertaining. Even the other supporting characters, like Casey, I thought she was a lot better than how she was in Split. She wasn't awkward. There wasn't those weird camera like angles and just those stagnant shots of her looking off into the distance or looking into the camera with no purpose. Like, he still does those camera stuff, but it actually felt like there was a purpose to those, camera shots that he's doing. That's what I actually want. If you're going to do those shots, make sure it has a purpose. It actually felt like there was some structure going on with his camera work. And it made Casey look a lot better as a character. I even liked Sarah Paulson in the movie. I thought she was really good. She was like the psychiatrist of the the mental institution. I thought she was pretty good for the first 3 quarters. I actually liked her. She was interesting. I liked her. I liked how she was trying to, dissect the Glass and Kevin and David's character and stuff like that. I thought she brought another dynamic with the whole thing of trying to make us think, oh, what if all this stuff was, in our heads? What if they weren't actually superheroes? I thought all that stuff was cool, bringing in another concept. I thought that was really interesting. Glass's mother, I thought she was good. She was pretty good. She didn't have a whole lot to do, not as much as Casey and Joseph, but I thought it was good that they brought her back. Helped bring some dimension to Glass's character. I thought it was good. But yeah, I don't have a lot to say about her. I'm just glad they brought her back. I'm surprised how much action set pieces were in this movie. I didn't expect that much action, and honestly there wasn't really that much, but I'm like, the set pieces that he does do, I thought was pretty decent for him, I guess, because he's not really an action director, but the action scenes that he does do, I thought was pretty decent. It was interesting. It wasn't the typical like shots that they use in like Marvel and DC movies. No, of course those scenes are better, but what he was able to do with these, I thought was pretty interesting. It was I liked it, especially towards the beginning when David and Kevin fight for the first time. I thought that entire sequence was good. When I guess the personalities capture these cheerleaders and feeding them to the beast, similar to what they did in Split. thought that was pretty cool. And then Hedwig, the 9-year-old personality, when he's talking to the cheerleaders, that was great. I love that scene. Hedwig, once again, is one of my favorite personalities that Kevin has. He actually had a lot more screen time than he did in the first movie, probably because, you know, everyone was loving that personality, so they're like, give more Hedwig. So I'm glad he was able to have more to do. But yeah, that whole encounter with David and Kevin, I thought was pretty good. Even like people were saying that there was like this pacing shift when it got from there to the institution, and honestly that didn't bother me necessarily, because the stuff in the institution I was still engaged with for the most part. And honestly, like, I'm so used to Shyamalan's slow build and pacing, like this still feels consistent with what he did in his other movies. And honestly, it would feel kind of strange if, like, you know, the first two movies, they feel more of a slow burn and a mystery and a thriller with not a lot of action, and then we get to Glass where it's more of an action heavy movie. So it's like I wasn't expecting that at all. So it didn't really bother me because, you know, like I said, the therapist stuff and the mental institution things, it didn't really bother me. I was actually kind of interested in the concept, and I just like to see more of the interactions between Glass and David and Kevin. And then you have Dr. Ellie Staple trying to, you know, talk to them and being like, you know, all this stuff about you being superheroes, it's just make up, it's make believe. So I thought for the most part all that stuff was interesting. I guess my nitpick about that, though, I felt like they were being a little bit repetitive with that. Like the first couple times I was fine with it, but like they kept bringing it up again and again, being like, all this stuff is made up, all this stuff is made up. I'm like, okay, well, can you go into something else? It feels like you're banging us over the head with it a little bit, but it wasn't too much to be like, oh, this is stupid, can we stop this? But that's my only nitpick about that. And then in the trailers there was this like machine that sets off Kevin's personalities. I mean, it was cool. It was interesting. It was a cool like machine. It was very creative, but I'm like, there was some things that kind of bothered me on a practical standpoint, because like, how does the machine actually sense if there's danger in the room for it to go off? And then can't Kevin just cover his eyes and not look at the lights? Like, it's like he can easily just do this and go outside the room, but he doesn't cover his face. Like, there's nothing really to stop him from doing that. So I'm like, I don't know, little nitpicks about that, but I still thought it was interesting. And then David has a room where it sets off water in the room. There's like hose or whatever that goes off whenever he senses danger. And then with Glass, they just kept getting him drugs to make them all, you know, make him all loopy and stuff like that. It doesn't do anything. So okay, that the other stuff I can understand to an extent, even though we all know Glass is smarter than that. Like, trying to get him drugged up is not going to fully work. But yeah, I thought all that stuff was interesting. Even like when Casey came in, I like that she got more scenes with Kevin. I liked the interaction between the two. You felt like there was weight because of what happened towards the end of Split, and they're building more on that with their relationship. And I thought all that stuff was actually really touching and actually had some emotion. Didn't expect it from a Shyamalan movie, but you know, I thought those scenes were really good. It helped, you know, ground the movie more than the other stuff that was happening in the movie. So pretty much, like I said, the first hour and 50 minutes, it was composed of all those good elements. However, it gets towards the last 20 to 15 minutes where it starts getting a little strange. So apparently this is what everyone, or almost everyone, had an issue with, was the last 20 to 15 minutes. And I can see where they're coming from, really. Honestly, like, the whole build up with them escaping the asylum, the Glass and Kevin, because you know that was gonna happen. That whole sequence I thought was really good. I like the camaraderie between Glass and the Beast. It was very exciting to watch, just to see them work together and break out of the prison. That was really cool. There was a setup that Glass did before they tried to escape, about this big third act thing that they're trying to do. And when he said that, I was like, okay, there's no way Shyamalan is going to create this big set piece towards the end, because he's not a big set piece director. So when Glass was like setting up that premise towards the end, I'm like, okay, there's no way it's gonna happen. We're gonna get swerved. We're gonna get this twist towards the end. That's not gonna happen. So for people, I guess, that don't really know about Shyamalan's tendencies or how he is as a director, they probably heard that and was like really excited for this climactic battle. But for people that know about Shyamalan's track record and his budget and how he scales things, you guys will know that, you know, that's out of Shyamalan's realm, you know. So it's like that. I can understand if people were upset about it, but for me, I'm like, okay, I know that's not gonna happen, but let's see what he does for an alternative. Is that a payoff? And without getting into spoilers, the ending didn't. I'm really mixed on. A lot of people were upset. My friend Shannon Jeffrey, who's also a fellow YouTuber, saw this with me, and she hated the ending. And I could see why, because it really felt like a disservice to the characters in the movie, that ending. Just the way they did that, it just felt very mean-spirited and cheap and just anticlimactic. And I don't know. I mean, you could say that, you know, my expectations were a little high towards the end, because, you know, with superhero franchises, you expect them to, you know, leave things open for future installments. And, you know, maybe that's not what Shyamalan was trying to do. Maybe he was trying to wrap things up in a box, and like this was the only movies that he wanted to do. He just wanted to do a trilogy and that's it. And he didn't want to do a franchise out of this. That's fine. But do a better service to your characters, you know? Because the way because, you know, what happened towards the end, I didn't feel like was a good send-off, you know? It really felt disrespectful, and it really felt like that's it. Like they deserved better. Without getting into spoilers, I'm dancing around it because I don't want to give anything away. But there was some things about it that I thought were good. There was a couple of twists towards the end where I'm like, okay, that actually makes sense. I could see that, you know? Like, there's a couple of twists where I'm like, that's good. You know, I can see that. And if you just ended it there, we'll be good. But he puts in something else. And another thing where I'm just like, okay, no, that's unnecessary. That's too much. But, you know, I don't hate the ending, because, like, there's a couple of stuff in that last 20 minutes that I actually liked. And something that I could say about the twist that he does that I couldn't say in his previous films, I actually saw what he was trying to do, but I just felt the execution of it was not good. And, you know, I guess that's something I expected with Shyamalan. Like I didn't feel like he was going to something great. This movie wasn't fantastic. It's not gonna change my perspective on him completely. But yeah, that definitely tainted how I felt about the movie, because up until that point, I was like, okay, Shyamalan, you're doing good. You're doing pretty well. I almost am gonna walk out of this movie being like, Shyamalan did a good film. But that ending, he literally fell off a cliff after that. And that's really disappointing to me, you know? So I'm going to go to my grades. So overall, if you ask me out of the 3 movies which one I would prefer to watch, it would be this one. I'll be honest with you, because I felt there was more for me to like in this film than the previous 2 movies. And I know a lot of people will be surprised when I say that and probably get upset. But you know, like I said, I'm a different moviegoer when it comes to Shyamalan. I haven't been feeling any of his movies. And even Split, even though I liked it, there was still some stuff about it that I had issues with. But with this movie, regardless of the last 20 minutes, like, I felt this was one of the strongest movies that he's done. Like, I felt like there was a lot of stuff there that interested me on a personal level. You know, just stuff that I enjoyed from him, stuff that I felt he improved from his last movies. There was a lot more entertainment value. The characters were really likable. The acting was really good. So all that stuff I thought was done really well. Actually, you know what this movie reminds me of, honestly? It reminds me of X-Men: The Last Stand, where I know a lot of people like the first 2 movies, the first 2 X-Men films, and think that, you know, they're better films than The Last Stand. And on a technical aspect and the filmmaking and script standpoint, yes, the first 2 movies are a lot more consistent and better structured. However, when it came to the 3rd movie, it actually gave something that I enjoyed. It actually was more entertaining to watch, and it was doing stuff that I actually wanted to see finally from those movies that the previous 2 didn't give me. So that's how I feel about Glass. So yes, from a structural standpoint, it probably is the weakest of the first 2 movies from what Shyamalan's trying to set out to do. But I don't know, I felt the most entertained from this movie, you know? So overall, I'll give it a C+, because like I said, the first hour and 50 minutes I was about to give a solid B, and then the last 20 minutes that was like a C. So putting those together, it equates to a C+ to me. But as I said, I prefer to watch this movie over the previous 2 movies, just because I just enjoyed more in this one than the previous 2. But that's my overall thoughts on Glass. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know. I don't know where Shyamalan goes from here. I'm still don't love him as a director. I felt like there was some potential with this movie, but like I said, it wasn't enough for me to say that I'm a fan of his now. I don't know where he goes from here. I don't know if he's going to make another installment of this movie, but we'll see where it goes from here. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment your thoughts, and please subscribe to the channel. If you guys like this video, please subscribe. We're on the road to 50 subscribers. Hopefully we can get to that goal this year, and maybe we'll get to even 100 subscribers. I would love that. But thank you guys as always for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.